don't get too close to your you want to microphone close to like the disc, the table. Maybe kind of this just a touch right here. Oh, wait. Nice. So welcome back, everybody. So we're happy to start our vehicle. I can miss I forward now. Okay, and I'll forward. Okay, sounds great. So, well, thank you for joining us. Okay, so we're going to speak together. Maybe one. I think it's just this one. Okay. So I'm just going to use my public speaking voice. All right. So we are kicking off the panel for AI accessibility and user accessibility. So as I mentioned, we have fabulous support for digital accessibility by WeCo. And we're so thrilled to have it. Again, it's very near and dear to my heart. So just for a quick introduction, Lynn is the founder and president of Digital Accessibility by WeCo, a consulting firm of digital accessibility technologists who live with disabilities, manual accessibility audit, and provide usability testing for websites, software, mobile applications, and documents in accordance with Section 508 and the Americans with Disabilities Act legislation. So again, they offer a wealth of supports and services. And again, just to remind you, we'll be doing a raffle later for their WeCo learning curriculum, which is really exciting. So thanks for just that generous support for that. That's fabulous. And then we're also joined here by Marie, who is one of the lead accessibility testers at WeCo. Marie works for WeCo. She's, of course, a specialist in the technology testing website software and applications for accessibility. She works with clients in both sales and customer service. She runs Braille IT and in-home Braille transcription business, putting printed material into Braille. And then we're also joined here left by Ken Rogers, who is a user consultant and a former disability program coordinator with the state of Minnesota Department of Transportation. So with that, let's just give a warm welcome to me. Is it my computer mic? Oh, is that what it is? Is it? Can we maybe turn? There we go. For your patience, we know what the way any count. So always takes a little bit more time to set up. We're a group of digital accessibility specialists who look at this case faculty required in order to work on accessibility at WeCo either by helping coders code better or helping people understand the utility needs of people living with disabilities. That seems half of the disabilities for your job. So it was really fun to put together this camp for you today because I know that I hear this all the time. AI is going to replace the need for human testers, and it's really, really interesting how quickly the digital community wants to make it easy to do accessibility by not consulting with them. Since there's some way we can eliminate. I mean, I've been in this industry since 2008. And back when the input of users was enough, and that software was deceived, much more.
And so in some ways, it's been kind of interesting to see AI, see that kind of full thought pattern come into play. But I think that you're going to learn today that as we all ponder the question of, is AI good or bad? Many of us who live with disabilities see it as a wonderful, as a thing that is going to help level the playing field of our community. And that probably AI is going to move forward the rights of people with disabilities in a lot of ways. We're rapidly improving text, text composition, liberating video caption, facial recognition, replacing those darn inaccessible captions, and bringing the needs of users like me with cognitive disabilities into focus with things like text summarization and composition. Things are really changing. The panel that you're going to hear from today includes two people who are experiencing how AI is impacting accessibility in both physical and digital worlds in real time as non-visual users. I will add my own 2 cents as a person who's lived with cognitive disabilities that impact my comprehension and communication capabilities. So I'd like to, before we open up the questions for this panel, I'd like to say that the 2 people sitting with me on the stage are really part of the founding members that made WeCo possible. Ken and I worked on the ADA transition plan in WIAD, which was how the step that started in my head that we need to be consulting users who live with disabilities. So we worked together, and he is one of our charter at the accessibility WeCo and continues to be a trusted advisor how we work with our staff and develop product. Maureen was part of our first PEP scheme way back in 2011. And she also proves to be a wonderful resource for our customers, and also because she understands the importance of Braille and how that is not something that is widely used, but still dependent upon by many people who live with visual disabilities. So I think we should just start this discussion with AI. Is it good or is it bad? Now, obviously, I think it's a good thing. But Ken, do you want to start with some of your thoughts? Sure.
I think AI right now the more on the optimistic I wanted to have the of things starting, it's doing with a new technology, there's going to be there's going to be gaps in the funding problems that from not understanding as more and more people learn how to integrate the new concept into whatever tool they already have systems or create new ones. And then the AI presents us with the opportunity that we have not ever been able to reach a level that we currently have with it scale. And even with it just I think when problems and talk about it's very important. The technology has to allow us a working model, and the AI has been created and given to us to use. It creates us with a lot of opportunities. I don't want to make you in the ground that it is all good. I think we all must continue to acknowledge the cautionary issues in looking at how and views now can be rolled out, continue to be rolled out. But what I'm seeing thus far is there's some really explain potential to really change people's lives. And I'll give you an example of a program that literally, I'm going to machine I used it. My hope is do the same for you when I tell them that a little bit later. But it's an example of the potential that AI brings, but I think we need to take a strict training caution and be aware. And in my humble opinion, I do not believe that AI is going to eliminate our roles for our jobs. I think it may change what our jobs look like in the future. We did not necessarily back in, but it's not more. I think every day on one hand, it feels like we're getting more and more to that environment that was given to us in we are slowly doing it, and that's always been really video things. Watch those videos. I'll leave it at that. Absolutely.
I felt it from first. Well, and if you've been around WeCo for a tiny huge Trekkie, and that at one point each of our teams had their own colors. I remember somebody walking up to me at a conference. Do you like I find mustard gold. They are like what we were. So Marie, your take. Okay, I navigate my in wonderful. I mean, and I'm meaning another question that the problem I see then comes back hours after it. And it's not mutual research. I don't depending on very and it's not feedback, but it equals on what I do. I'm an insulin dependent diabetic, and I use a less probably some little comments I need to get. What they're it needs to be pretty active, and have I am not any albums and I'm using unless wouldn't get it to me. But there's a case where sometimes the moving has to be about with it. And as opposed to sometimes it's just funny because it's inaccuracy. Like when I text and you like put it into the Siri, I have the other way all experience things like that. Like others there, and he said, I don't register she got trouble because people look up is coming out at night. He were handy and charity and what the whole then they didn't find really other people. It's set up in that way people and I really want to just go this is AI and this is great, but it's sometimes if it's a great, but I think it is opening up new worlds and new different things for people. And it just takes a while for people to get used to it. And there's always citizens first. I'm old, I'm gonna be 78 people. And I remember when I was college and made something. Instance that if you could walk into an student, you shouldn't read to that's their needs. It was called Griswold, just 24,000 dollars. Everyone said, and it's still being standing on work. I have right now 3 ways to scan PDFs in the minute on my computer. So just well, then and user lives with cognitive disability. The text composition feature can be really helpful to me. I'm actually right now going through a pretty rough your full expression, and that impacts my ability, it impacts memory. I'm a trained creative writer, and it very difficult to write. And so that generative text portion can be really helpful to me. But it's still leaving out some of the nuances, but it is beneficial to be able to write and then just so back. So one of the things that I know the time is going to fly by fast. So before we get too far down the road, Kat was graciously offered to give us a demonstration of something that used to be called Be My Eyes, that's now called Be My Gaze. Hold on. Do little applications with that. There's 8 million volunteers that you can outline and need somebody who's well. For example, you could use Be My Eyes and get a volunteer under that pool, or if you want somebody really a bill, you know, these anybody who do this. This is why we might be moved. And I have my sister and an employee of mine is like going trust being those that they be my so he might whatever.
Right, and this app, and many accounts or I guess, it's calling my house, and it's 360. It has been around for a while. Yeah, and when it first came out, it was very novel. Because the kind of problem that we run into have people without it, but you just need to provide there. Wow, it's really effective. So then I would pull along and need to have quick there are a lot of processes, but every process had a different temperature on the trick time and so point it out on any mile and be connected to a volunteer, which only one of you could be a volunteer being my PI. And randomly get connected to a cloud person in some system. You know, here's the camera on all of that. Like it's my instruction that you can give me this. I come ready, all the book, very quick spot to a problem that I wouldn't be able to have support. So that's sort of really helpful. But at the morning, you know what? Stranger to just read anything if it's proprietary information. So, you know, you get a come to the first one you call room this service, what is that edition? So I have the app in group that was added, and how do you added, you know, data to this software. So I'm asking you to be all together. I've used the app and taken a picture that have a data elements it and then give me out the description. Now, this is the problem for a while. When you take a picture of the document would be run with general OCR, or character recognition reader, and then be able to read us back what it picked up on the text. Maybe 65 or 75% accurate if you're lucky. But that means that STL is really crisp piece of paper, that the text is clear, there's no hidden buttons, there's no pictures involved, it's just ready that. And it was better than enough we help people. Now, I do not make mistakes very often. If I gave visual text, putting this up on page, or an electronic hard copy or on it, it reads me exactly based on the AI interpretation of what's there. And if it's a bill or it's not, I'll let it go. I take a picture of it, and then ask accurate deadline before you even send it anything. I think it's tell me what my monthly charge is, and it will reanalyze it and just tell me if the file was old. It really think, so to speak, and identify what is needed. And it didn't take up for someone that doesn't have style or in for restaurant not being able to see menu and or anybody people on menu, but you want to know the cost. You need to have that good information basically at your fingertips without having to go out on the it's huge. And it's going to take a bit, it's where I need to go, but we are going to be on this near. Let's go. Good cat.
So something that recently what recently Maureen and I were interviewed for a series of interviews with a large creative firm in New York book situation. And one of the things that we talked about in that interview that has really made me think is that accessibility is really about autonomy. And I'm wondering if, Maureen, you can talk about the autonomy that you have in your daily life a little bit because of AI.
Because of AI, I mean, this sounds silly, but I don't have to, several startings for civil weather wanting to know that I can know in one hospital world, you see the sun's out of the, I mean, yes, you can agree on the so I mentioned it, but that's my, how if do that repeating for that thing that I look at it about my you can walk back every week and tell you they this there's just a lot of things that and that dedicated to read documents in just really us and then look at them actually read our mail and I know not to decide I don't be all of our games you can give money and a lot which can really be a lot like that it really makes me a difference that in show when you that's the powers of yes you look as you what it is.
And I think that's a really important point to make. If there's anything that I feel like our company has helped push forward, it's to make people aware just how precious is. And if you don't live with a disability that interferes with your autonomy, you don't really understand. We don't hear this so much, but when early days start with the company, we'd say, well, that person just that. Particularly talking about employees receiving training. And it's like, why should they have to depend upon somebody else? What if they want to access that by themselves? And so I just think that's an important thing. It's discussions.
Yeah, and we write about on that it just spoke about like an additional one. In the old days, people with disabilities were kept in bio, they were kept at home, they were provided for the team public. I don't know if any of you are old enough in the audience to help limit the trade list on which, in my opinion, I was engaged with that early on, but then realized that was such an inappropriate focus on people with disabilities who couldn't do anything for themselves. And that was the whole premise to raise money and that the more people running themselves. They were based on that model thinking that disabilities are things that are broken and need to be fixed, or you just put them away. You don't use them. They're broken. And because of that concept, many things in our environment were done on our behalf without us. For example, traffic engineers, street road workers, they made policies and projects based on what they believed we needed without checking. But that's that's the way we go. Another law. You do things for people based on the things that they need. We're not arrogant. We don't use that model. We use the social model. And the social model is nothing about us without us. We're there, we're visible, we're independent, we're out in the public. We want to do things independently. Personally, I will use a tool anytime tools to make my life easier. So can you still? Some people want a muscle room because they just have this desire to be independent. And I think we're in the same kind of transitional period in our world. For a long time, people did things because they thought that's what we needed. And we can all have systems in place, like that we use. We don't figure out and solve what we weren't connected in with to see it happen. Met our needs. They were that important in this transition period. And I think that's what brings culture to me to look at and how that's been a further transition to a completely different thinking. Now, be my emphasize. I'm going to open the tab. And I'm going to slow down on speed street. We understand, everybody understand what it is. But so I'm like, oh, be my identity. And that they could start that it where it is here and not make it. It is her line. Is 70%. 70% for there it is. Yeah, down please. Here we go.
There we go.
Okay. Right into it. Free revenue. Setting. Yes. All of that. Volume. 70%. Season rate. 70%. 65, 60, 50, 50, 45%. Okay, that's no enough for you. I'll go to volume. Okay. 70%. Camera views. Okay, I'm gonna 1150, 11, 8. I'm going to take a picture of what is in front of me. Take picture. Analyzing picture. Please wait. The picture shows an indoor auditorium with rows of seats descending towards the front of the room. The seats are mostly filled with people. The audience appears attentive and casually dressed. Wrapped on and with mixel theory and white pendant lights hanging from the ceiling, which is also white. There are large concrete pillars and the walls are paneled with light wood. The flooring in the aisle is a light gray color. The picture shows an indoor audit. Ask more. So that gives me the opportunity to ask more questions. So I could type in or use my voice to ask a question. Tell me more about the people sitting in the rows. And it will further analyze and tell me more about people that are sitting in the rows. This is way more information than I have ever been able to ascertain from an app or from some tool since I lost my sight 30 years ago. The richness in the description, and this is just the first picture I took, right? I just took this random picture and it gave me that much detail, and it could give me a lot more detail if I ask it specifically. when I first got this app, I heard about it, I downloaded it, and I was sitting in my living room. I took a picture of what was in front of me, and it's a fireplace. And there's a rug on the floor, fireplace, mantle with some stuff on the mantle. And it told me not only that it picked up a part of the carpeting in front of the fireplace, but it told me the pattern and the colors of my carpet, which I never knew. I have not known what color that carpet was forever. And the pattern that it was observing was identified. It told me I had items on the mantle, and it was a wooden mantle. And there were 2 photographs in frames and a large statue at the back of the fireplace mantle that appeared to be the Virgin Mary. And that's exactly what it is. And so I asked it more questions about the photos, and it gave me descriptive content of what the photo on the left is of 2 men. Both are wearing shirts and ties, and the man on the left has his hands in his pockets. He's got dark hair, and it told me he was wearing glasses. Then he told me a little bit about the picture on the right. Where did I get that kind of information? I don't ever, unless somebody's telling me, and now I have it at my fingertips to be able to do that. Now, again, I don't know how much of this is accurate. I only know what I'm hearing and what the AI has analyzed that it's telling me. So in terms of accuracy, and as Maureen so adequately pointed out, people like me rely on the information that we're hearing. We don't have a choice. We either get that or we have nothing. And I'd much rather have something than nothing. And again, I think this is an indication of the power that AI can bring to existing technology that we currently have. Again, it gives us the potential to see the potential of what we might be able to harness moving forward. And remember, this is this first brushstroke of AI being used. AI uses machine learning, and machine learning learns the more it's used. So as we use it more and more and more, it's only going to get smarter. And I think there lies the great potential that we have at our fingertips, and already starting to see that being rolled out into some apps. You know, I was reading this morning email, and there was an announcement of a new app for the blind called, my screen reader calls it PixieBot, but it's spelled PICCYBOT, one word, PICCYBOT. And it is another brand new app designed for blind, visually impaired folks to be able to further analyze pictures using AI. So I went to my camera roll and I selected a picture and ran it through the PixieBot app, and it analyzed, it told me what was in the picture. Again, it was much more descriptive than the automatic photo description that comes now with our iPhones. Our iPhones attempt to give a general description, but it's very general. For example, my iPhone identified the picture as a picture of a dog. And when I ran it through PixieBot, it said, this is a picture of a credit card. It told me which bank it was, a credit card for, and the credit card has a picture of a German Shepherd on it. And that my credit card has a German Shepherd on it. So again, AI has the potential to really augment and enhance our environment. Can we trust it? I give it some caution at this point. I would like to take whatever I hear from it under advisement, but I know that it's still so new that I need to be a little bit less trusting. But the potential just excites the hell out of me. And I think you could just see, just by the description of the room here, that kind of information that is now at my fingertips that I never had access to before is a game changer.
I wanted to add something to the economy question, to just say what it's like with people and get it yet. I was app, a website that provides surveys. I had been asked after being at the clinic to do a feedback, and I really wanted to because it was a very wonderful experience. And the survey was, I got the invite through email. The survey was totally inaccessible. There was nothing in it that I could read or do. So I contacted, I went to the website of the company that had the survey. I had to talk to the people at the clinic, and they weren't sure who to talk to about that, but they were going to look into it. And so I went to the company that had the survey, and they had an accessibility statement, which is wonderful. It's one of the WCAG standards to have one, and it should contain contact information for, if you experience issues, who can you contact? And this website did have an accessibility statement. They didn't say they were following the WCAG standards or anything about WCAG. They just said, we try to be as accessible as we can be. If you have issues, call this number. So I called this number and told them that their survey was inaccessible. And their workaround was to read me the survey over the phone and fill it out. And that's how this company has chosen to make the survey accessible. Well, I did fill it out because I wanted the clinic to know, but frankly, it made me angry. Because normally, from other survey companies, I've been able to just go to the website and do the survey myself.
And I think that's a really important point, is when does AI go wrong for those of us with disabilities? And I think that a version of this has been the accessibility overlays on websites, where a lot of particularly small businesses are often sold this bill of goods that this overlay is going to make the website accessible. But what it does is that it detects when someone is using software like a screen reader and forces them to use the overlay, disregarding the years it's taken for a person to get good at using their screen reader, that they have it dialed in the way they need it, and forcing them to learn and do different type of software every time they enter a website, which we often say, would you require that of your users who don't live with disabilities? Of course you would.
I consider that an invasion of privacy, and they immediately know, I'm blind or have dyslexia. And I dislike overlays so much that I've installed an overlay blocker in
I had to.
Yeah. But I think we're at the end here. So I just wanted to wrap up with a final question. Ken, in a couple of sentences, what do you want people who develop AI to know about the needs of users with disabilities?
Well, number one takeaway I would suggest is include people with disabilities in your development process. Nothing about us without us really is the mantra that should be followed all along the way. You may think you're on the right track. You may think you're doing the right thing, and that's what we need and want. But unless you engage with us and find out, you don't really know for sure. And I don't expect you to have my perspective. I don't expect that you know what it's like to not have sight. So I don't hold that against you. And I'm certainly not pointing the finger indicating that people who don't engage people with disabilities are intentionally trying to cram things down our throats. But that's kind of what it feels like sometimes. Engage with us. We're out there. And we're here to assist and collaborate, and we can make a better product together.
And of course, WeCo makes that easier for you, because we just put your focus group together. Marie?
I totally agree with Ken, that include us from the beginning when you're thinking about something. So I've heard so many people say, oh, this would be great for blind people, and they have this, idea, and it's not usable. And my dream AI thing, which maybe exists already, and tell me it does, is for appliances or anything like that. They're all flat now. They don't have anything tactile on them. You can put braille labels on, which I have, and many of my things, but I'm waiting for the day when they come with one button that you can feel, you can push it, and AI says, what do you want? I want the oven at 350 for 25 minutes. And bing, it does it. Or your washer, you can do whatever. Any machine thing like that you're using.
Well, we are a little bit over time, but thank you for being such an attentive audience, and have a wonderful World May Day. Yuri, Carissa said that we have time for a question.
For experience, back to the data YouTube.
Okay, the question was if there's an app that any of us favor when we're looking for more of a human touch, rather than just straight accuracy.
Oh, I love the AI, not the AI, the Be My Eyes group thing where, you know, I might call my sister 3 times a week to help with, hey, what color are my socks? Because actually I have a color identifier, and yesterday told me 2 socks were white, and I came to the kitchen and my husband said, one of your socks is brown and one is and so, yeah, you know, then I'm talking to a human who I love, and you know, how are you? I'm fine. And what's my washer today? And you know, so that's my.
Yeah. And mine is an app called Ira. It's AIRA. That's how it's spelled, AIRA, but it's pronounced Ira. And Ira stands for artificial intelligence, blah, blah, blah. I don't remember what the rest of it is, but it's artificial involved. But this app is a similar app that you use on a smartphone. You dial in and you get connected to a human being that has been trained in audio description and description tactics and strategies. So they sit at a couple of computer consoles. They have GPS to know where you're calling from, and they can see based on viewing through your back camera on your phone. So I hold it up and they tell me what they're seeing. It's a human being, so I can have a two-way conversation. It's human to human. I can ask specific questions. They can use their computer system to look up timetables. If I'm at a bus stop and I need to know when the next bus is, there's anything I want, I can have that conversation, and they can do the research for me right there, right then. In the Twin Cities right now, we have free access of IRA anytime a user wants to use public transportation, whether that's a bus, a train, metro mobility, or taxi. If you want to dial in and have them guide you to a train station, a bus stop, crossing the street so that you can get to your bus stop or train station, you can use IRA for free. Normally it's a subscription service, so it costs, but anyone can use IRA for free for 5 minutes a day. So if you just need a quick pair of eyes, that's another option. If you want an actual human being and some interaction, that's one that I use fairly frequently as well. But, you know, I think it's interesting that, again, that human connection is something that AI can make it sound pretty. It can make it sound like they're really engaged with you, but it's a machine and it's not a human being. And I hope we never get to the place where it takes the place of a human being, because there's something magical about a two-way conversation. But yeah, interesting thought though.
Well, just to kind of wrap this up, is that we started WeCo in the days when the only way that people had to measure accessibility was through a QA suite dashboard. And we came into the market and were actually told, remember one of our first clients
had been working with a dashboard company, and they said, hey, we just contracted with this group of users who live with disabilities, and we're hoping we can use their service in tandem with yours. And this competitor of ours who owned the dashboard said, well, you really can't trust people living with disabilities to understand their own digital needs. And in those days, that was 2011, that not that long ago, folks, that was